Good evening, everyone. Hope we're all well. It's a bit muggy out there tonight. I hope you're sitting comfortably and you got a nice beer. So, Speedway, as Speedway is, it's been a bit of a funny old day, and we're going to be chatting to someone tonight who's had a hell of a funny day. But first of all, I'd like to introduce to you Paul Capaldi.
How you doing?
Not too bad, Paul. How's yourself?
Long time no see. The last time I saw you was tearing around this track on Saturday.
Yeah, it was a good bloody time that we had as well, wasn't it?
With your two times FAF engine. Was it a 500 or a 750?
No, I cannot say anything about that at all. And also joining us tonight, we've got one half of the Shouty Brothers, as James is quite busy tonight. So we've got Marty Clyde on. Marty, how you doing?
I'm very well, Greg. Thanks very much. How are you? Everybody all right?
Yeah, we're all good. We're all good.
You gotten over your Saturday night antics and fist pumping and...
Just about got there. I was a bit excitable on Saturday, but
doing those massive cutbacks off turn 2 at Shieldfield.
What's that? What's that?
That was something else.
I've never done a cutback in my life like that.
Yeah,
Exactly. So yeah, and also on tonight's show we've got sort of the man of the hour everyone's talking about is Lee Complin. Oh, he's appearing. Yep, there he is. Lee is currently in a vehicle at the moment. How are you this evening, Lee? I think we might have some signal difficulties with Lee there. Can you hear us all right?
I can hear you fine, mate, yeah.
Perfect, there we go. So, Lee, might as well kick it off with the Newcastle. When did you find out about the Newcastle closing down?
What do you mean?
You're not Plymouth. Are you at Plymouth?
I'm at Plymouth, mate.
Oh.
I got a text message at 25 to 12 last night when I was in bed asleep,
Right.
stating that obviously it wasn't Plymouth wasn't going ahead and they were pulling the plug on it. I read that at 2:30 this morning when I feeding a little lad. So as you can imagine, it was like, oh, right. So I've rented a van out for that day. I've lost £100 on that. I've obviously just lost a day's work because I'd not booked out in. Just this is how it is, isn't it? You've got to just get on board and just think, right, well, let's crack on.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, these things happen. Even if it had been a rain off or something like that, these things would still would have come forward. But I think it is a bit of a blow. I wouldn't say it was much of a shock to myself. I guess Marty and Paul would be the same because we knew that it was things weren't great. What was it like as a rider in the camp? Did you have much idea it was coming soon? Or have are we on a big delay again? Oh,
I knew it was coming maybe. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a funny idea it was coming at the end of the season, to be honest. But I think the writing was we'd get to the end of the season. So it was a shock that it would happen so quick.
It certainly was. I mean, one of the things that we were discussing a while back was that given the fact that Newcastle were going to close at the end of last season and they were just going to come back in, would it have been prudent, with the benefit of hindsight, to have come in at National Development League level in the first place?
Yeah and no, because they've still got to pay the rent for the stadium and things like that. I think we don't understand what goes on behind closed doors. So yes, in a sense, maybe that would have been better, but then they've still got to pay their outlets, still got to pay the stadium, still got to pay the rent. So if they couldn't make it work with us getting people in, I'm pretty sure there wouldn't be that many at National. I'm not too sure. I just didn't think there'd be as many people watching that league than there was this league, because even this one, not many people watched, did they?
Well, to be honest, Lee, the next sort of follow-up question to that was that would Lee Complin be happy to ride at National Development League ready level, as a heat leader rather than as a reserve in Championship? And I think you've kind of answered that question.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, Edinburgh's had a spot open up for me, and to be honest, I kind of did the deal before Newcastle closed.
Right.
We kind of did a deal, and I said I don't know if I could do it or not with just I was having to rent a van and things like that every week. But I've kind of sold my van at work and got a bigger van, so that respect I can do it now. So we made a deal, and obviously it's track time, and I love Edinburgh track. I went there with Newcastle a couple of weeks ago before the rain off, and I got 6 points. I've not been there in 11 years, so
yeah.
it's a nice stadium, nice crowd and that. So it's one of those tracks where you go and you want to ride it. You don't go and think, I can't be bothered going to Edinburgh. Yeah. I've always looked forward to it.
And I think that's what Armadale's been looking for recently. I mean, no disrespect to the man at all, but I was at Armadale on Friday night, guesting for Mildenhall, and it was going out on parade, and Willie Lawson's getting still in his work clothes with no silencer on the bike, no carburetor on the bike, and we were all going out for parade, and he ended up missing heat one, and it's just, I think William's a great rider, but he's just not that bothered as what he should be. So I think to have a guy like yourself come in is really going to help the team go forward. I would say they've probably missed the chance of making any playoffs now, but I don't know, Marty, you'll know more about that, about the stats and everything. But
they will take a win to start with.
The man that's just joined us will tell you better than me. Indeed.
How's the rest of your season looking there, Dave?
Oh, superb now. Things are all looking up now. Lee's joined the team. Welcome to Devils, Lee. We're all good. Apologies, I'm just in another meeting, fans trust meeting for the Monarchs tonight, so we're all good. Yeah, no, it's. I think you're right. I think preparation isn't Willie's number one asset, and he's probably just playing at it a bit this year. And he obviously loves riding his bike. He's doing a bit of road bike racing as well, so good luck to him with that. But I don't think the team could continue the way it was. Changes had to be made. Then, unfortunately, young George is, through various other circumstances, is taking a step away, so that's a shame for him. But for Elliot, I was actually quite surprised Elliot wasn't in a team already. So hopefully he can kick on, and obviously Lee, with what's happened in the last 24 hours with the news about Newcastle, will give you something to keep going, which is obviously that's just terrible news about Newcastle today. Apologies, I don't know if my...
Oh, yeah, no, I was just... Lee's on a bit of I thought he was on a delay there, but... No, I mean, your first meeting's going to be quite a while away, Lee, I think, I understand. Is it the 15th of July until you're able to ride in the Devils' colours? It
is, yes. I mean, I could be doing a guest booking on Friday for them for Edinburgh.
Right.
Against Oxford, so that obviously I'll get some track time there, but like I say, I enjoy the track, so... No matter how far in distance it would have been, I'm looking forward to it, and obviously can get things organised and ready for it. So I've looked at the schedule, and it's going to be a good schedule. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
And you've got, like you were saying the last time you were on, that you'd almost just gotten yourself set up with the way the engines work. You know, because you've been away for so long and coming back, you were kind of just starting to get your head around it. And it's kind of a shame because just as you've started to get the head around it and getting things figured out slowly but surely, that's you out of job. So this is going to be a major for you to get back on and really show what you're worth.
Well, it's in a sense, I just want to show what I can do and what I can bring to the team, not just me, myself, but as a team player. And obviously, no matter who you're up against, they all want to beat you. So no matter what league it is in, it's exactly the same outcome. You need to beat that opposition rider. And obviously with the team themselves, obviously, I think a good little chat, a good little bit of a laugh. I'll bring a bit of a laugh to the team and G them up. I think, I can't see why we won't be getting any points, put it that way. That's what I'm aiming for.
That's it. And I mean, some of the young lads that are in that team who maybe, the Miller brothers, I don't know how long they've been involved in Speedway for, but if they don't know you, they certainly will after the first meeting, because you will be there and you will be, getting everybody fired up for it. And I think them, especially lads like that, who are needing that extra bit of help. I mean, fair enough,
some lads
Willie
are quite
Lawson.
quiet, aren't they? They're they sit in the pit booth and they kind of just look at everybody else having a laugh and give a little smile. And you need to encourage them to come out and have a laugh and enjoy the Speedway instead of thinking, I need this. And you do it to enjoy it, and enjoyment comes winning.
Yeah, nerves are a massive factor with some of these young lads, and I always just try and tell some of the young boys in my team that nerves are just excitement. That's all it really is. And once you can work on that, everything's going to be you'll be sound. I don't really get that nervous anymore. I get more excited. I'm like, oh, here we go, back in the bike again. But I think, like I was going to say, William Lawson, for all the experience he has got, and he's a very, very talented man on a motorbike, but he's spending more time after every race fixing problems that could have been done that week in the workshop. So he's not really got the time to say to somebody, do this or do that. I think his number one role as he comes back into the pits after a ride will probably just be track slick, and that'll be it. So, we're having yourself in there. I think every team needs that, a good head to go in and have a bit of experience and just show the young lads how it's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame because obviously with Friday, I was meant to be racing at Edinburgh, Middlesbrough on Friday, and loads of my old work colleagues, Ryan Brayshaw, he did a bit of riding. He got a Speedway bike and did a little bit, and he really enjoyed it. And I think he's going to have a little go again. But it's a shame because, you bring your supporters up with you, don't you, to meetings like that, to Newcastle, to Edinburgh. So it's a shame that obviously not that many people are coming from local. I think that's what it is. People stopped coming, and that's what's kind of closed it down. But I've seen that Edinburgh, they get a good crowd and stuff, and it's about getting behind the team, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not just getting behind the team, you're supporting a local club, which people don't really see. You're going there because you're supporting something. It's like, if you're, say, if you've got to buy medals for your kids' swimming thing, the medal's just a shitty bit of plastic, but you're paying £5. That £5's going into the club to keep the thing going, and it's the same with the Speedway, all that. So you have to. Everybody really needs to get out and support these things, or they're not going to be here for much longer if we don't.
No, exactly. It's all in terms of what Berwick and Edinburgh are trying to do this at the moment. Edinburgh with the academy, and obviously Berwick, these guys have done this for a bit longer, and having a National League team going is just chalk and cheese to what it was just even 10 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago there'd be two teams in the National League, and I'm going to say Scotland because it's close enough. People would have laughed at you. They said that's just not possible. But I know our results haven't been great this season, but it's not necessarily about results. It's about, can we get someone in an Edinburgh race jacket in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, that started on our track, and hopefully that's the way it goes. And guys like yourself are key to make sure that happens, and passing on that knowledge and passing on that ability, and passing on the ability. I don't know you pass on ability, but it's all part of a team. You need all parts of the team to be working for it to go.
And the
view
view on
about feeder teams, isn't it?
Yeah. Is that? Christ, we've got Leon Flint in the bloody crew, no? We must be desperate tonight. Bloody hell.
Well, we just sat watching it, and you're our being too serious, so I thought I'd add a bit of patter to the patter,
Well, that'll not happen. Leon, what's your take, seeing as you've just jumped in, what's your take on the whole Newcastle situation? Did it come to a shock to you as it happened? I mean, I think everybody knew it was going to it was going to be closed at the end of the year. But what do you think about it going so suddenly when they've got meetings? I see that Leicester are going to lose 7 league points because of it.
Well, I think it's quite good for Berwick because everyone loses the points that they got for them. Just a shame that Berwick was the only one that they got them to. But I bit sick because I was meant to be guesting for them on Friday, but
Oh, we spending it Newcastle. Redcar, sorry.
Redcar, aye, but
Aye.
oh well.
So go, Leon. You never know.
Well, hopefully. We'll just make our own team, eh?
Yeah, man.
Well, that's the thing. Will Redcar be able to get a meeting on? Because I mean, they'll have it booked in, and will they be able to chuck a meeting on? Because I remember when Newcastle, when they pulled out the National League last year, then Berwick put on the Berwick v the Bandits v the Bullets. Do you think Redcar will be able to do that? Because they've missed a few meetings recently just with staff problems.
Well, it all depends if Eric Riss is there or not.
Right.
Well, tell us more. Or is he booked abroad?
I don't know.
Oh.
What's the other story that's been up this week as well is what's the story with Jake Mulford and Jason Edwards? What's that happening at Kings Lynn?
I hope you're not asking me.
You don't know about what? You not seen that?
Well, I've seen it, but it doesn't mean I know anything.
Oh, I thought you'd know, man. You're up in the Premiership. Surely, hell, you would know what's going on.
Oh.
You didn't hear these whispers.
Problems in that league, son.
There's plenty of them, isn't there?
Well,
Come on, Greg, fill us in.
Well, all I've seen is that he's been Jason Edwards has gotten in the Premiership. He's in at reserve as an injury replacement for someone. I don't know who it is that's injured. And I think Jake thought that he was the number 8, and he was that's right, Jack Thomas, and he was meant to be. He was the number 8, so he was going to be taking the form for it, but they've kind of put him on the sidelines after he had booked a mechanic and flights home and everything else like that. So it seems that there's been some sneaky wee stories going on, which I think happens far too often in Speedway.
That's Speedway.
That is Speedway. You just have to deal with it.
Yeah. It's definitely very harsh on the kid, and hopefully he does get a chance. But I mean, I guess the other side of it is when you got Jason Edwards flying the way he is, teams will be desperate to give them the opportunity. Is it right? Who knows? Will Kings Lynn fans be bothered on Saturday night if he wins seat 2? Thursday night even, sorry.
Aye, you're right enough there. Well, Jason Edwards did get beat off a man who is overweight a wee bit for being on a Speedway bike. I still smoked him, so. Where's my phone call at the Premiership? I mean, again, jumping got away. Why did
you make a good start? Please fill us in, to your new starting technique. Lee, also fill us in. Here you're making good starts now. Heard someone gave you a bit of advice.
Yeah, Sean Wilson give me some advice, and just silly little things that you don't even think about doing. You know what I mean? You do your clutch plates, you do your cables, and you think that's it. There's a lot more to it. Do you know what I mean? You don't just leave it until that meeting. You got to do it at the meeting. And I kind of listened to him, and since then it's just been awesome, yeah. But it's just how I set the clutch up, the springs, the cups, how many turns in, where I've put the wheel, how much I rev it. Like I was saying to you, wasn't I, Leon?
Well, that's what I was mainly aiming at. I was wanting a bit of praise for the information.
But in my defense,
I'm just saying,
my defense, that engine was well overdue a service, and since it's been serviced, then I've been making gates. So thanks, Leon.
Well, I got some top tips off Leon, who got some top tips of Jai on how to do starts. But I have it has been a lot better for me this season. I've got Kev doing my setup for me, and he was saying basically what a fucking mess this is. He took the bike to bits, and things were just shockingly bad inside. And then it was kind of like, you know what, your reactions aren't bad. Everybody always thought my reactions were slow, but it's not. It was just the bike was shit the way I'd done it. So it's all been done. I've been told, obviously, Leon saying is like, it's fucking annoying that you've got somebody that's, how old are you, Leon? 14. And you're telling grown men how to do starts and it's working.
Just wish I could do it myself.
It's never too late to learn. Every day's a learning day, as they say.
That is true. That is very true. I mean, well, to yourself, Leon, Wolverhampton, you were at Wolves on Monday night, weren't you?
It's hard there though, because like in the Championship, I feel like I can beat anyone, anywhere. And to be fair, it's the same every away track, bar Wolves, but it's just such a tricky place to ride because, like, struggling to make starts there, not from anything to do with like my clutch or the starts there, just with confidence. I think I need.
Yeah.
But it's hard. Like I'll leave there thinking that I've learned a lot. Like riding wise and the lines to ride and stuff like that. And then Saturday night I'll go and ride at Berwick and do the complete opposite of what I need to be doing at Wolverhampton. And it's just like a cycle. But that's no excuse, though, but hopefully it'll come.
That's it. It's a funny old game, isn't it?
It's no easy, like, but.
But Greg, have you not got any tips for Leon now that you're a master of the Armadale?
No.
And them being similar circuits.
He's only just got away from being the Armadale snail.
Oh, listen to it. Leon, I'll get you come out to mine night. We'll have a sit down chat, and I'll fill you in with some advice.
Can I play, Greg?
Yes, you can come in and why not? I mean, I will be charging. It's no it's £25 an hour, but you'll only need half an hour, and you'll be good to go.
Can I just ask a question of Leon about the Jason Edwards coming in, because it struck me that Mildenhall are a standalone club. Their only interest is in winning the league. They're not a feeder club to a bigger team. And it struck me that last year, because you signed for Wolves, you then came out the Bullets team, Mildenhall win. Now this year, Jason Edwards goes into the top flight Kings Lynn team. He doesn't have to leave Mildenhall. It seems a bit unfair there.
I think, to be fair though, when I left, like, it wasn't like there was just some random person coming into the Bullets team. It was Luke Crang, and it gave him like a good fallback into the sport. But
sure.
But personally, I think the main reason Mildenhall's not doing anything this year, I've got the star man. I've got the star man from Mildenhall next to us, Mr. Luke Roddick.
That'll be why.
So I think that's where it's all gone pear-shaped. I best not speak too loud because I've got his missus here, which is the team manager's daughter. So, best whisper about that.
There's a lovely club I rode for them on Friday night. I had a great time.
I liked your video, Greg.
On the back of the car. I think they all thought I was taking a selfie. And then I says, "You'll not be smiling the morning night."
Aye, but the Bullets made hard work of it.
Oh, by Christ, did we know? I mean, it was one of them nights that it was just. We thought we were, when you get comfortable. We done track walk, and Gary had said, "Look, lads, get out there, hit them hard to start with, and keep that gap, because they'll get dialed into this track, and then they'll start, then they'll come again." And that's exactly what happened. But we kind of went off the boil a little bit, and then when it came to that draw, and it was still drawing at heat 13, and I went out with Ben. I remember saying to Ben, "Just do something, just go out, and we have to do something here." I says, we can't, because we've never been beat at home, and that was the closest I felt. I did have my doubts. I thought we were going to lose this meeting, and I said to Ben, I says, just go out and do something. And he went out and he done something, and it was like, shit. I lost my voice. I lost my voice screaming at him on the back straight when we finished the race.
In the Corona.
But it was like probably one of the luckiest meeting for me. I don't know if it got mentioned on the Sunday night that I had when I went over the start finish line. I went into the first bend and went to give it a rev like that, and the bloody plug cap cover had come off. Now that usually happens in the middle of the race when you're winning, but for the plug cap to come off over the line, it was fucking lucky.
I like how you're not dropping Mitch in there after a puncture as well.
Did I get a puncher?
Well, what happened to you? Oh, was it? Oh, it was the plug cap. Sorry.
It was the plug cap, and
he was raving to me about this engine, saying how good it is, and then next minute I turned around, he was pushing the bike back.
No, the plug cap came off, and I'm sure was it someone says, why did you not just put it back on and ride it back round? I says, because I'm not fucking stupid. I've seen that done. I've been electrocuted. Have you any used guys been electrocuted with a bike before?
I do it if I go out on a race just to G me up.
Just give it a little poke, stick your nuts on top of it. That'll kick you on.
Is that just me?
I think that's just you.
Right.
No, I seen someone do it in the British final, and I can't remember who it was, and they grabbed a hold of it. Oh, have I went off funny?
Was that
No.
one of the techniques from Sean Wilson, Lee?
What's that, sorry?
Was that one of the techniques from Sean Wilson?
I can't say much at all.
But a comment there for Chris Black saying that Dave's bang on with the way Berwick and Edinburgh are doing it. It is right enough. I mean, you just have to look at Leon, for example. I mean, I know he was already in the championship, but smoked Edwards because of the Davy racing engine. It's a true fact. Leon was already in the championship. Leon, would you say that being in the Bullets and getting as many meetings as you did last year helped with your progress in the championship and then on towards the Premiership? Don't say no.
Is he still there?
You're speaking, Leon, but we can't hear you. Nah.
I think he's taking mic.
Yeah.
He's definitely not. He loves to hear his own voice. Yeah, there's a good question for you, Lee. 3 months into the season, still pleased he decided to return to Speedway and has been hopeful of picking up a new championship team. Is there anybody he particularly fancies racing for?
To be quite honest, this time, say if it was before, I'd say like a big track or something like that, you know what I mean? But this time's different. I want to get used to these smaller tracks. So to be fair, I can't actually say a specific team. If someone's got an availability for me, then I'll definitely pick that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't mind, to be honest. I think no matter what, you know, Berwick's always been my favourite, obviously, but like Edinburgh is very close to that, and Redcar, that's a good track. To be fair, I can't really say I wouldn't go anywhere because you just got to take it as it comes, and you learn other things, don't you? You can't get too comfortable just with one track 'cause it changes all the time.
Would you drive down to Plymouth every week then?
I certainly wouldn't. Did you pick that up there, Lee?
Did you get that?
Saying, would you go to Plymouth every week? Dave was asking.
What's that? Sorry.
Would you go to Plymouth every week?
Hello.
I think he's having hearing problems.
Nothing wrong with Plymouth, by the way. I was down there last year, and it was a brilliant research, fantastic community club, and doing lots of really good things. But it's a long way from here.
It's a lot better. The track is a lot better than what it used to be because I went there back in 2008 or 2009, and it was so rough. You have no idea how rough it was.
I'm
That
back.
was the hello. That was the British under-21 qualifiers. That's how long ago it was that I was there, and it was hellish rough. And I remember watching a couple of races, and there was lads bouncing about like this all over the place. And then Ty came out and started doing that batter in the back wheel off the fence, throwing it to the white line, running away out, hitting the fence again. And my dad says, "Just do that. That's how you get round the track." And that's kind of when we knew that lad had a bit of talent, because nobody else could do it.
Did you ever go?
And actually, no. I honestly, I was thinking too much about hitting the fence, and I thought, I was really close there, and I wasn't. I was like 6 foot off it. Jamie Courtney was in that meeting as well, I'm sure. That was a bloody long time ago. Leon would have
the time I
still
was
be on
there,
the
they had
tip.
the bus on the home straight is like the hospitality thing. The battered old bus.
The battered old bus.
They had a bus on the home straight. It was like a kind of, it was decked out, and well, there were the Devils at that time. And there was a bus painted all red and yellow. And it was like meant to be like a kind of hospitality thing, but it was just fit for the scrapyard. And
There was
interestingly enough,
I think it must have gone to the scrapyard then. It wasn't there last year.
There was a burger van when I went all them years ago over the back, and it was called Jodie's Baps. Anyone remember that? Leon, ask him if he remembers Jodie's Baps from back in the day.
You Roddick,
Aye,
you remember Jody's Baps?
I'm not that old.
at Plymouth.
He says
What's his? Can you remember it?
he's held camera shy. He says he's not that old.
I'm sure the lassie that had it, the lassie with the Baps, went with a Speedway rider, and it was Tom somebody, and I'm sure he was Welsh. Tom Brown, that's right. It was Tom Brown's bird.
Yeah.
And she had a burger van called Jodie's Baps. Aye, that's right. Wet round, and she had lovely baps. Very filling. So moving on to Saturday night. Leon, are you looking forward to
Swift move there, Greg?
swift move like that? On to Baps. Leon, Saturday night, Berwick, you looking forward to the new lineup of the team?
I am, yes. I'm very looking forward to my new role at number 5. Should be good. Excited to see how the new boys get on. It should be a bit of a fresh start for the lads.
Yeah, I mean we've seen how Nathan gets on round Berwick, and he gets round pretty well. And obviously, I forgot his name.
Jonas.
I was going to say that, but I remember you in the pit scanning about. Here we go. John Shorts just asked what I'm asking. It's like we read each other's minds. I saw him riding the track on Saturday night, and by Christ, he can lick round there. And he's very stylish as well. He's got a nice setup on the bike.
Aye, but Leon was telling him all his moves.
Well, it must all be in the bike, because they're my old bikes, just his engines, so. But he's a proper sound lad, very humble. He's not on the under 21 GPs for nothing. And if anyone was there Saturday, you could all see that he can ride a bike. And like I say, he's a nice lad. He's already fitted in really well with all the fans and the black and gold.
Yeah.
But he's a great lad, and he's a racer, and that's what we need more of at Berwick. He's, he didn't have to come over here, but he wants to. I think that's been half the problem of all the people Berwick's been trying to get a hold of. It's you've got to think of it as a work interview. The first question's got to be, do you want to do it? And if it's no, then you go no further on. And then if it's yes, then you can explain where you go from there. But like I say, I think he can. He might struggle to start with, but I don't think it matters to the promotion or the fans if he scores 3 points or 1 point, as long as you can see that he's battling battling the whole race. Prime example was when Lee guested for us. I can't remember. I think it was Leicester. Was it Leicester? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was Leicester.
He ended up sending one of the young Thompsons for a hot dog just to get that 1 point, and just showed what we're missing in the team, and hopefully that he can deliver that. And the same with Nathan, he's out there with a point to prove. Quite lucky we got him declared in our team before poor Josh McDonald got hurt at Oxford. Otherwise, he might have been there.
That could have been a different story altogether. That.
Yeah, I think me at number 5, especially at home, I can deliver. Ricky's been struggling a little bit the past couple of meetings, but once he gets settled in, and I don't think it's confidence. Just once he gets riding more, because have to think, like, we've had a 3 week break now from bandit stuff, so all the lads that aren't racing in the top league, it's quite a long time to be off the bike, while we're racing against people that's been on the bikes at most 3 times a week. So, but like I say, it'll be good. It'll be like a fresh start for us, and hopefully we can get back on winning streak.
It's like you were saying about the riders, like, racers. I think the one thing that'll annoy the fans the most will probably be the fact that boys that just give up towards the end don't put in any effort. You have to race till the checkered flag, even if you're at the back and you're half a straight behind. You've got to keep it going, because you never know. Someone could throw a chain, someone could slide off, or whatever else like that. Lee, you're a prime example of that. You're always flat out. Doesn't matter where you are about at all. You ride the race like you're either that you're miles in front. You're on the gas, and that's what people like to see.
You hit the nail on the head. So you could be like last for 3.5 laps, and that one corner, or they could have a chain, anything go. And if you're that far back and you've given up, I mean, there's been times where people have actually pulled in.
Yeah.
During the race because they're that far behind, and then someone's broke down, so they've missed out on a crucial point. So that's what I always think. The race is never done until you yourself is over that line.
That happened. There was an example at Armadale.
Yeah, I was just going to say the exact same, Greg. Young Gregor, probably inexperienced there, switched off a lap too early and missed out on a point.
Pulled onto the centre green with the bike still running, and one of the, I think it was Alex Spooner, done a little pirouette and landed and fell off. And if was it Gregor you said that pulled over? If he had just kept that, I think all that happened to Gregor is that he went straight in the middle of the corner, got a fright, and just wee tank slapper, and then pulled into the side and thought, oh, bollocks to this. But if he'd kept going, that was another point, and you never know when it gets to the end of the meeting, that point could have counted, and it could have been the difference between getting a point or So you always have to keep on the bike, and if your bike's still running, get back up and ride round, because you never know what happens in a speedway race.
Yeah, well, you saw it even in the Grand Prix. Was it Freddie Lindgren that pushed his bike around 3/4 a lap for a non-finish 0? So it wasn't. So he got a 0 rather than a non-finish.
Aye, exactly.
That's the level of professionalism. There's. I don't know if it probably didn't make a difference in the end, but.
Well, I think getting that.
We used to have to do that in like the British Championships and stuff like that. I don't know why it is, but apparently a finish rather than a non-finish is better. But I don't know.
It'll go back on your scores, I guess, because it'll show that at least you rode that race rather than didn't. So if it has to go back and count back onto scores or whatever else like that, that's probably what it'll be. There's just been a comment there, Lee, from Lynn asking, do you think the rest of the Newcastle team will get a team place this year?
I'd say it all depends on averages, people getting injured. So it's just if your average fits and that, and if someone's got a place in the team. So I can't see them not doing. But it isn't down to the rider itself. It's literally the average, isn't it? Or if they've got a team place available. So you could be like the best rider in the league, but if your average doesn't fit, no one can get you in.
Have you had any contact from clubs, Lee?
No. anyone's watching.
Let us start to get to that silly season, where we're so close to the playoffs now that teams will start to get desperate and make changes. That doesn't mean have to be desperate to take you, Lee, by the way. That's not what was meaning.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that was one of the things in the statement today from Newcastle was there's no riders available to try and to pick up. So now there's six available from the Newcastle team. So it might start a merry-go-round. Yeah.
I mean, not big in my average up, but my average is pretty low at the moment. So obviously, going back 10 years, I used to be like an 8.5 average. And I can't see why I wouldn't get back to that. Obviously, I've not been riding very long at all. What, a couple of months? Yeah, I've had some good meetings and obviously getting used to the bikes. And all I can see now is it going up. So I think if someone did get me in the team, it's only going to benefit them. But again, anything can happen. I could just ride shit, engines. Oh, you know what I mean? So it isn't as clear cut as people think. It is literally how Speedway goes.
That's it, exactly. I mean, I know, like you were saying about when the playoffs come up, you get guest bookings here, there, and everywhere, especially like the Friday night meetings. If someone's missing, because there's that many, I mean, as you've got Scunthorpe, Redcar, Armadale, Glasgow. I remember I got thrown in at Leicester against Redcar towards the bloody playoffs when it was getting close to that time, and that was a mental meeting for me to go in. I hadn't been on a bike for 2 weeks. And I was chucked in beside them lot, and that was just a nightmare. I got battered and bruised everywhere. But it is a bit confusing that with the Speedway why there's that many meetings on a Friday night, and then you look at like the National League meetings, Plymouth on a Tuesday, like guys that are like working and stuff like that haven't gone all the way down to Plymouth. It's a bit backwards, the whole thing, but that's a different story.
Aye, well.
I think we put on a wee bit of protest.
I don't think it was first choice from Edinburgh's perspective to have more Friday night teams, but I guess some teams have more power than others at times.
That's exactly it. And Dave, have you got, on the subject of Edinburgh, is there any news have you heard? Can you give us any information on what the crack is with the stadium? If you're buying or if you're going somewhere else, do you know anything?
I think it's still pretty early. Well, it's not really early days because we really need something for next season, so time is of the essence. It's been probably 3 weeks since the club made the announcement. I think they are hoping to give an update in the next week or two. That's all I can kind of say / know at the moment. So there's something going on, but you just can't say. What's that? As I say, hopefully there'll be some, and there'll be an update in the next few weeks, I think.
Oh well, that's exciting. There's a wee exclusive for everybody, eh? Christ, there's going to be. What is it? There's a. You what?
You heard it here first.
Heard it here first. That's what you call an announcement about an announcement.
Oh God! Everybody's least
Speedway.
favorite thing. No. I'm not announcing anything. By the way, there's nothing. Yeah.
No. Well, we're going to turn that on its head, and we're going to put out that Dave said there's going to be an announcement about an announcement. That'll get everybody going. See, speaking about teams and stuff like that. How much do you know? I mean. What do you know what's going on in the Berwick camp, Leon? I mean, are you just treated as another rider, or does Daddy tell you stuff that's going on before it's announced?
Well,
or are you last to know?
I'm last to know me.
Not even friends, them two.
Well, we'd laugh and joke about it. From 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock, he's my team manager, but I think he's done plenty overtime. I think because Berwick's a bit of like, it's more of like a fan-based club, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
Everyone's like family there. So like,
I'll up to that, Liam. Like I was saying, right? The times I've guessed for yourselves, I was speaking to Greg last time on the show about, the team being more than just a team or individual riders. It's like a family, and you hit the nail on the head. I can guess it for you, and I felt a part of the family. So that I to take that to Newcastle, but it's one of those things where everyone has to be on board. And I mean, it sounds pathetic, but like before my race, when you'd come over, fist pump me, you'd come over, fist pump me, and he kind of thinks, yeah, I'm ready. You know what I mean? He gets you going, and this is what it's all about. And I can honestly say, even back in the day, we had good team spirit, but since I've guessed it for Berwick, it's been the best I've ever had by far.
Like it doesn't matter if you know where you come. Like say, for instance, Kyle went round past Brock and Cookie.
Yeah.
When he came back into the pits, there was every single person in the pits that was a part of like Berwick Bandits was out on the track, like like slapping them on the back of the head, like clapping them in. Like that's how it is, because like I know maybe not for as many as the other lads, but certainly Jai and who else, a couple of us, Nathan now, because he's seen everything that goes on behind the scenes at Oxford. But I see what all goes into it and the stress they go through and that. So I think for them putting their belief in me, like I need to give everything back there. But like you say, like the whole family thing, like everyone says it's the best club in the UK without a doubt. Most people don't like the track.
Yeah, I know that what you're saying, because if you're sitting in the pits, even just getting ready for your race, or you've just been out for a race and a race has went on, and we've gotten a 5-1 or somebody's won a race, your dad will be like that, right? And then it's like, oh fucking hell, we've got to get up, and then you just bounce away doing because you've got to go and cheer somebody up, or you've got to go and give somebody like high fives and everything else like that. You didn't often see that with other teams, and I always go back to oh god, I can't remember his name now. We went to Kent last year, and it was just bucketing with rain all the way through the meeting, and our team spirit never cracked. We were all supporting each other all the way through it. And there was a young lad in the team for Kent. He's about 15-year-old. It was the lad that silencer came off.
Vinnie Ford.
That's right. And his dad said to my dad in the bar afterwards, he says, "Man, I looked over at your pits, and yous were all laughing and joking, and you were giving each other goggles and equipment and stuff like that, and like, oh, use this, use that, here, take that." And he says, and then I look back at our pit crew, and he says everybody was just sitting there miserable, wanting to go home. And he says that's just a proper like northern thing, that.
Well, I remember it because I came down with yous, didn't I? And
Yeah.
It was Heat 8, and that there was a massive crash with that Vinnie Ford. Vinnie Ford broke down, and it was that wet. Jacob Cloughton couldn't see him, and I'm not joking that when he hit him, he must have went about 8 foot in the air.
Aye.
And then, like me, my dad, Kev all walked on the track, and we was like, oh, like we can't go any further with this. And then, anyways, the referee kept it going, and we managed to get 2 5-1s, which put us like 2 behind. And all their lads was like half already packing the van up, and like the team spirit again, like there was absolutely wasn't of it. And at Kent, you've got like this big ramp that you go up. All our lads was ready to go out for the next race. All their boys was on screen clutches and that.
Yeah,
and it just shows. And we ended up winning the meeting, didn't we? It was guy wet, like, but the boys stuck together and got the job done.
Again, it's back to that thing about enjoying yourself, isn't it? I mean, that's what you hear. All right, you guys are making a living out of this as well. It's your job as well as that, but you need to be doing things with a smile on your face. You need to be enjoying it, and part of that enjoying it is the camaraderie in any sports dressing room, whatever it is. And the pits, if you've got it nailed, I think the 2014 season for the Monarchs, Derek Snedden leading the way, which is an unbelievable team spirit with those boys. Sometimes it's easy when you're winning, ultimately, but You know, it's when it's those dark days when it's soaking wet to still do it. Then that's when you know what really matters and the guys you can really believe in.
It's different for like the National League kind of side of it though, because these boys aren't doing it for a living. They're just doing it to either, you know, kind of get themselves through the ranks, or just doing it because they enjoy it. And everyone that was there was doing it because they enjoy riding the bike. And again, they see everything that goes on behind it. And I think that's what got them through it. You know, all the lads in the Bullets team live fairly close to each other. We've got Mason, that's a local lad. We've got Kieran, that's a local lad. We've got Greg, that thinks he's a local lad.
I do not think I'm a local lad. I am not a local lad. I'm from Jeddah.
I wouldn't say it too loud, Greg, if I were you.
You know, the one of my favourite things about that Kent meeting was I had a strop, and I didn't have that many strops in Speedway. And I came back and I was raging about the fact that the track was soaking wet and it was minging and it was crap. And Kev came over to us and he went, "Stop whinging on and just go out and win your next race and you'll be fine." And I went, "Oh yeah," like shouting, "Ah yeah, no problem. I'll just go out in that wet shit and win my next race." Easy for you to say. You wouldn't have rode in that, Kev. And then my dad's like, "Right, get a rest, just go out and win your next race." And I was like, "Aye, fuck it, fine, watch this, I'll go out and win my next race." Made an absolute blinder a start and won it. And I was hating it going back to the pits because I just knew that they were all going to take the piss. They're like, "See, well done, you can win races." And then after that, everybody that had seen me put on my little show was kind of looking at us. I taking the helmet off and I went, "Come on, boys, it's not that hard. Let's go out and win all the races." And then everybody just started laughing. It was just
when it's raining, I'm like a pig in shit, mate. I love it.
That's the grass track in you, isn't it?
No, mate. Honestly, when it went to Edinburgh, when it got called off, I was the first heat out after it absolutely sailed it down. But honest to God, I was like, "Yeah, get me out." I was the first one out there on track. You know what I mean? Loving life and just obviously I won the race, but it's easy when you're in front in that kind of conditions. But it's them conditions because people don't like them. I relish because it's one of those where you go to a track that someone doesn't like, you're going to relish on that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's why I always learn, you know, just crack on.
That's exactly it.
We've seen that when you were at Berwick with Newcastle. The weather was a bit inclement that night, and you were like happy as a pig and
shit.
Yeah.
Grabber.
And that's a donkey.
I remember hearing a story about it must have been raining. It was a pairs. It would be the Premier League pairs. And I don't know if you boys remember, it was when James Greaves and Joe Screen were partnered together. And I can't remember what club that was.
Glasgow.
And it poured with rain. And they were looking at the track and they were going to suss it out. And the referee says, "The track's all right to go on." And Greavesy takes in the story by saying that Screeny turned round to him and just winked and went, "We're going to be all right." And they went out and ended up winning it, did they know? Because it was just a case of, like, I can get on with this. Everybody else here is hating this. Let's just go out and enjoy it and get some trophies.
It's great. I mean, Theo's another one that loves the wet as well. I mean, if it gets to rough conditions, bad conditions, you know, he's just going to ride through it. It's just so good with a bike. That's what you're.
That's it. But the only problem that we've got now after winning that meeting at Kent, especially, is if we go into a wet meeting now, Flinty, Kev, Scott, Jamie, they're all going to go, "Oh, well, you've done it at Kent. Why can't you do it now?" So we can't complain at all because, as Leon, you were there, that was the wettest meeting I have ever seen in my life. I can't think of a wetter meeting than that.
Only your wet dreams.
I do remember I was at Workington one time. Well, I can't remember. It wasn't an Edinburgh match. And Cookie lay down and did the front crawl on the first bend because it was that wet. He was just wasn't happy at all. This was before he moved to Edinburgh.
Aye, it's no much fun. I mean, I was taking my goggles off in that meeting, and it's not something that you want to do. You know, you were coming out the first bend, and even if you were coming out the second bend, even if you were in front of the race, you were getting spray off your front wheel. So you were having to like ride the bike like that to keep away from all this the spray, and I was just whipping the goggles off, and it was not fun at all. But we done it. We won the meeting, and that was it.
Can you not remember the Premier Leagues? It was Birmingham Sheffield. It was on Sky. It was like the first time Sky went into the Premier League. It was when Sanchez was at Birmingham, and they rode in wet conditions. It was like riding in the Amazon or something. But because it was on Sky,
they kept it on.
Aye. But I reckon how the riders even seen far less riding it.
It was like that meeting you were at no long ago, Leon, at Wolverhampton when the track got quite wet, and you went into that corner and it was just that grippy. It just launched you. I mean, was there anything they could have done with it? If that had been televised, would they have tried a little bit harder to get it done, or was it just no way? Your sound's went off again. You've muted yourself. There you go. Try now. Nah, you're still off. Are you bringing him back on again, Paul? Is that going to work?
Yeah. As soon as he appears.
Because we discussed that on here that night after that had happened, to say would that have went on, and it would be good to get like Leon's point of view. He rode in one of the races. His bike went launched him out a corner, ended up on his arse. I mean, personally speaking, if it had been myself, I would have got ruined it. Lee, you would have got ruined it as well. Love a deep grippy track.
Thing is, when it's like that, people shut off too much. You've got to keep it wound on. I know it sounds stupid, but you get such an easier ride. But it's in your head. You know that dirt's there, and you hit that dirt, it's going to launch you. But as long as you keep that wound on, you're in safe hands. Yeah,
change the setup on the bike and just go out and hammer it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of riders are beat though when it's like that. They'll not even consider trying it.
That's it. They beat themselves before they even get to tapes.
Yeah. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Leon. So fire on with that question. The answer to the question.
I can't take myself serious. All I think is still game when Jack and Victor's like, "Can you hear us now? Can you hear me now?" We walked it, and like the boys were like, "Oh, there's a bit of pudding on there." But didn't really think that much. And Scotty Nichols and all that was, I want to say, kicking up a fuss, because it wasn't a fuss. It was obviously needed to speak about it, but we didn't really look at it too much. Well, I certainly didn't, because I didn't want to put myself off. But it was definitely grippy, and the first corner was the better one of the two, and then made the start for the first time ever there and thought, "Oh, I'm away here," and then next minute I'm on my arse. When I went into the corner, I was convinced Scotty Nichols hit my back wheel, and that's what caused it. And I watched the video after, and I just went away on my own, but literally felt like I got hit by a bus. But they could have done all they could after it. There was no chance we was going to be able to race on it. And Scotty Nichols hit the nail on the head when he was like, "Oh, I've earned no money here. I've got to go and wash a bike, but I'd rather come back here on a better day and race everyone fairly."
Yeah, that's true. That's bang on that.
So.
But these things happen. I mean, looking at this weekend again, the weather's not looking great. I mean, I don't know if the weather updates have changed anytime soon since I had a look. Marty, have you had a look recently at the weather?
When I had a look, it was certainly still forecast for the damp stuff.
He's worried too much, man.
Sweet.
I know.
I'm not bothered. I'm not riding in it.
I always think the track's the best when it's absolutely pissing down, because it's all just natural rain, so it's all even.
Yep.
It's equal on the track as well, isn't it? Instead of being the track to putting it on in bits and bats.
And Leon, obviously you'll know a little bit about it. Why is the track covers not made an appearance anytime soon? Is it? What's the problem with that?
I don't really know, to be honest. there was a
They're
reason.
not like take half a day to put them on and take them back off again.
It's that. Yeah, it has to be dry beforehand.
Yeah.
And the football are playing this Saturday and all.
Or the football there Saturday.
It's getting all the bodies to try and get it off. I remember like 2019, like I was having to help, or 2018, but it's like trying to get, because it's not just a 20-minute thing. Like it takes like an hour and the rest to do it. So, but it's not a small track to cover. Like
I do think so as well. If you probably think so as well, Greg. When it does start to rain, everyone's like, "Oh no!" And then the wait and the wait and the wait and the wait. When 4 or 5 heats could have gone out, Edinburgh, and then they kind of like say, "Right, that's it," and then, which were fair enough. It was wet, but then literally as it got called off, the sun came out and it was dry as a bone. But like you said, the conditions of the track had changed a lot. But again, it's about people's safety. I know that, but I do think people, when there's a little bit of rain, just jump to it like, right, it's off.
Yeah,
I know that does tend to happen a lot.
Greg, can I just ask Lee a question about Rough Park, because it was mentioned in the chat, and I suppose it's a bit of sour grapes, but it was somebody that was saying that it was actually Glasgow that has caused Newcastle to crash because it was them that complained about the track and had the meeting abandoned. Then you had all that work done to the track. Did it make a big difference? And was it bad in your opinion to begin with?
My opinion is obviously different. To everyone has their own opinions, but
sure.
if there's a little bit on the track that that tight on the track that the curb was showing, and it was dangerous in that respect, but there were no crashes on that bit. It was entering the corner, first corner bunching, or someone just sliding off from the outside. I think Matty Weathers had a bit of a lock-up on that, but nothing really happened on that curb where it was revealed in the track. So I personally thought it was fine because that's my point of view. But I can see other people's point of views as well. But then when the track's been done, it's been done to a level where it's smooth and nice to ride, but there were no dirt line. There was nothing. It was just so anyone could go on that track and ride it. So as Leon would say, you've got a home team advantage. You have that track how you want that track for yourselves, not for everybody else. So in my eyes, it got done too nice in a sense, if that makes any sense.
The thing is, though, you used to go there and you used to come in off the gas and drift up right underneath the fence.
Yeah.
Hit that massive berm of dirt, and it used to be quite fun to ride if you was in front.
Yeah. But my last meeting there was with Berwick, and it was the trophy, against, is it Time Team Trophy or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
2 legs. And we had a Heat 15. There were me and Seb Alden, and there was Mark Lemon and Robbo. Obviously, me being me, made an absolute shite start, as you would imagine. So Seb was in front. We needed a 5-1 to win. And I think it took me 3 laps. On the last lap, just come over the last lap flag, and the pit turn, I went round Robbo and Lemon because there was a dirt line. And I literally went round them both in one corner. And I can't remember, well, there's nothing like that now, but I can't see any tracks like that now except for Berwick. That's got a good dirt line. People are seeming to think it's all slicker tracks now. Is that me just thinking it? Or
it's the way engines have went as well, though. Like, back then, like, it's funny, though, because there's quite a few places, like track times and stuff like that, haven't been broke since, like, them days. But engines, like, now are that responsive to anything that you hit. If you used to have, like, tracks how we did, like, 10 years ago, like, there'd just be so many crashes.
Yeah.
Like, Greg's still riding about a 50-year-old engine. When GMs first came out, I'm surprised he's still not on the Jawa long rod or something. But
it's an upright conversion.
It's an FAF engine that he rides.
The one that was on in Funny enough, like Saturday night, you say about that with the engine. Saturday night was the first time I had properly ridden a baby offset, which I'd gotten a loan off of Mitchell Davey, and thanks Mitchell for that. and I rode it, and I was just testing it in my first heat to see what it was like. Alex Spooner was out in front of us, and I thought, I'm going to give this a blast. And I stuck it in the dirt, and it started to work, and it worked really well. And then later on in the night, when I was riding it, I hit a patch. I just hit a soft spot. Now, if I hit it on one of my older engines, if I hit that soft spot, it'll just pull me a little bit. But when I hit it coming out the fourth bend, it just took off for me, and I don't know how I never ended up in the crowd. Getting it down, it might have looked like skill, but it was 100% fluke that I never bounced off the fence and ended up killing somebody.
No,
because
no,
it was...
you never need to try and like get us on. It definitely wasn't skill.
But no, I know what you're saying there. The way the engines are, and that's it. Newcastle, I remember having it's probably a little bit of a drunken conversation with Scott Courtney in the Black and Gold one night. But we were talking about Newcastle, and we were talking about the way that how the engines are now, with the way the flywheels are and everything else like that. When you used to come in, Newcastle was a seriously good racetrack back in the day, like a really good racetrack. When you had the likes of even Nicky Pedersen, Kenneth Bier, Andre Compton was there, Bjarne Pedersen, Kevin Little was right at Newcastle. You got a good Sunday night's entertainment there, and now it's not the same as what it was. The racing's not like what it was. But then you've got Berwick, where this season, I would say, I don't know what stats are. I would quite like to see the stats, but I would say Berwick's probably had the most overtaken in any team in Britain this year. The passing has been class.
And can I say I passed someone on the inside? Just noted.
So did I, and I can't believe I done it.
It's all right.
I wouldn't say it was a pass. You bulldozed through him.
Is that when you...
Hold on a sec, guys. I'm going to put this up for you.
What's this?
Look, Muffin off yellow.
Tap for Sam.
You'll see.
Oh, there's nothing a given in this one, but you can bet your bottom dollar the box office player will be doing absolutely everything to
here we go.
At the Venn Tiger, man. Should he need it? Yeah, it's we've been treated to some fantastic action here tonight. We really have. And National League Speedway, it's pretty bloody entertaining. It really is, and you only hope from a bullet's perspective that Greg's
Why can I not hear anything?
Can you not? Yeah, I've got to press the sound on. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Leon.
Find out in this one, James.
I'm getting sick of watching. I'm just excited to watch Ben Rathbone make the start for once here.
Well, Ben Rathbone's actually quite good at the gate, and I have to say, when you watch this race, Ben Rathbone rode a very he's going into corners a lot quicker than normal there, and he's coming off the bends a lot better. But no, Ben looked like a bloody proper speed rider when he was going around there.
Just know that Greg Blair's going to throw absolutely everything that he has.
I would have beat Leon Flint in this race. I'm in third with a red helmet on. Here you go, Lee. Here you go. This is an inside overtake.
Here we go.
2 laps to go. Can he make it work on the corner? He's done him. Bullets on a 5-1.
Right, turn it off and see this.
At least the worst. What on earth are you doing, Greg Blair? Ben Rathbone out in front, looking so fast and so stylish. And if it stays like this,
my overtake were better than that, wasn't it?
It was, yes, it was.
Aye, but did you not put somebody through the fence?
No, he stayed on.
High, wide, and handsome.
That was Ryan turning right on me.
Ben Rathbone stealing a march. Yeah,
I was standing at the third bend with that accidentally.
Jesus, man.
Hats off to him. He made a brilliant start.
What's that?
When you nearly, because we got it on the telly, you're a bit behind. When you nearly go through the fence.
Aye, I know, aye.
Mitch Davey pulled a hammy because he was ready to go and sprint through it.
And I would say that he's pretty chuffed with that one.
But to be fair, the reason I was so chuffed about that is because we were drawing going into that race, and getting a 5-1 there was an absolute godsend. So
Greg, you hitting your chest like that, you look right strong.
Can't go against that, you know.
I am right strong.
Can't go against that, you know. 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 Can
Yeah.
I'm stacked, is what they call me. I'm stacked.
Unbelievable scenes.
They really have. They really have.
There you go. That's that done. You can switch that down now, Paul. Let's see these beautiful men's faces again. Something I thought I'd never say. So there you go. A little bit of action for you. So Leon, if you want to try that on Saturday night, I'll give you some top tips on that on the pitch. I didn't want to say anything on here because in case anybody's listening for the where have you got on Saturday? Scunthorpe. Aye, Scunthorpe. And it's BSN obviously as well.
Whoop whoop.
I swear to God, if you get a guest booking with them, the BSN, be a few.
I'm not saying anything.
Oh, there'll be a few people unsubscribed from that then.
How? Christ, if they've got Paul Bowen on, they'll have me. Paul's got the most haters on the BSN. He was on here the other week and he was telling us about other people that don't like him. I might stick a couple of comments on myself and say that he's rubbish. But no, well, anyway, lads, it's an hour 10, and I have to say it's been a great chat tonight with you all. Lee, good luck with Armadale.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure we'll see.
Can I just have a shout out?
Yeah.
Firstly, to Open Reach lads who are going to come and watch me some meetings. Obviously, can't make it. Ryan Brayshaw, Scouse, and Danny Parkin, Scraggy. Usual suspects, Andrew Teeney. But anyone out there who wants a rider, hook me up, yeah?
There you go. You heard it from the man himself. And yourself, Flintstone. You're riding Saturday night, and then we're looking forward to seeing you going round there at number 5, the number 5 on your back. I once rode with number 5 on my back for Berwick Bandits, so it's a great honour that you're taking that off me.
Was that when Peter Waite was struggling?
Peter Waite was struggling massively.
Last time I had number 5 on my back, I was waiting tables.
Oh, he's dropped the phone. No, I was number 5 and I was just about to win my first race in Heat 4, and then Andrew Tully passes on the line because I shut off too early. Rookie error. That was a bastard.
My dad was telling me his story about the time Peter Waite got him in at number 1. And Peter Waite got him in at number 1. He said, "Right, all you need to do is just bin it on the first corner." I can't remember who it was. I think it was David Meldrum fell off before him, so he had to finish the race. He ended up getting a load of money a point because he had to keep riding.
Well, there you go. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday night, Leon. Hopefully the weather stays as fair, and yeah, we'll see you there. And Marty, yourself, you'll be getting a night off because you're not going to have to be doing the shouty.
No, I'll not be at the Speedway either. So.
Oh, why is that?
Oh, aye.
Where you gone?
No, I'm otherwise engaged. I'll just leave it at that.
You're otherwise engaged. No bother. So Marty's having an affair, and Paul. And Paul, no doubt we'll see you there with your sparkly shirt on.
Well, I was going to ask everybody obviously the reason why Greg did that fantastic cutback on Ben 2 was the fact that he wanted to avoid the dazzle coming off the terrace near the third bend. It was blinding him, and he realised he had to go for a different line. Can I just share just very quickly a wee bit of bad news? Unfortunately, Sean is unable to make it tomorrow with us, and possibly it was my own fault for sort of alerting him to some of the sort of questions. He said, "You know what, Paul? I'm not into doing the interviews. A little bit like Andrew Silver and Dave Walsh. So unfortunately, we're not going to have Sean tomorrow. However, Greg, where were you on Friday?
I'm going to be at Bellevue on Friday at the National Speedway Stadium. And hopefully, if the signal's all right there, I'll do a little. I'll jump on the show after the meeting, and we can do a little live chat there. And I'll be all suited up in the Kevlars, looking all sexy and that. So we'll have a bit chat there, and we could get a bit walk around the track as well.
Get
That'd
some wise words from young Flintstone there. He's a former coach. He'll tell you the quickest way, surely.
It's all right. I got all my details off Mitchell Davey. I didn't need to hear off Leon.
Oh,
Are we getting a goodbye from Ruddock or no?
Roddick,
Is it
man's a goodbye.
Catch you later, mate.
Oh, he's
He's all shy.
He's got a nice hat on if you'd like to get one.
Hold on a sec.
Cracked up with
Hold on a sec, Concept. Just keep him there just for one moment, and I'll do a little solo.
No.
Eric. He's done a solo for you.
There's a nice Leon Flint hat. You'll get that anywhere in any Sue Rider or Cancer Research shop on your local high street. Right, lads. Thanks very much for coming on, and we'll see you again. All the best, lads.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you go. Oh, it's still live. Have we got enough live and speaking here for a bit?